With relationship, what we say is that basically there is us and there is another person, and there is the energy of relationship itself. Have you ever noticed that you're talking to somebody and there is a certain dynamic of you talking to this person, there is a certain dynamic to this person presenting themselves, and then suddenly their spouse comes in, or their child comes in, or significant person with whom they have some kind of close relationship, and they change totally and completely. And have you ever noticed that, for example, both parts of the couple, and when you talk to the girl, this is one thing. When you talk to the guy, this is one thing. And when they are together, this is something completely different. So when we're talking about relationship being something in between two people, this is what we are talking about. This is the energy created by two people coming together and forming this relationship. And there are many angles we can look relationship at. And today I would really like to focus on the angle of ourself in relationship. When we're talking about relationship, we assume that this is some kind of connection between two people. Usually we assume that this is a romantic connection or intimate connection, but it could be relationship, any kind of relationship, friendship, business relationship, relationship between family members. They all pretty much follow the same dynamic, with romantic relationship obviously having little extra things. But the same principle is true for any kind of relationship. And the energy signature of each relationship is unique. Some people have very stable and loving and very materialistic, in a good sense of it, relationship. Some people have relationship full of fun and adventure. Some people have relationship full of mystery and secrecy and surprises and undercurrents and whatever. We're all different. Some people have relationship full of fire, and this is fire, for better or worse. So this energy signature is something that we really need to focus on, because it's not even 50-50 in relationship when we talk about making decisions, making it work, taking a pause in relationship, deciding that this is over on any stage of relationship. When we consider something, it's just our little perspective. But basically, there is at least two other perspectives. And ideally, if you consider relationship as being like really, really nice but very fragile flower. And why fragile? Because our everyday life is not necessarily conducive to blossoming of relationship. So life gets in the way, and we assume that our relationship can and should withstand whatever life throws in our way, but not necessarily. Some relationships are stronger, some relationships are weaker, and obviously weaker relationships are going to suffer sooner and more when there is some kind of adversity. But the opposite can happen too. People with strong relationship can rely on their relationship too much for too long, and they can miss the warning signs that relationship is really, really suffering. So ideally we have this flower. So let's assume that this is flower in need of water and food and light and warmth and care. And ideally both parties need to water and feed this flower from two sides equally. And then, and only then, and considering also if flower itself has a really strong, robust base, like good DNA to the flower, if you wish, then basically we'll have a blossoming of relationship. Now imagine what happens when there is an adversity, or when there is unwillingness on one side, or indeed both sides, to water and feed and nourish this relationship. Things start to change. And basically, it will be quite naive if you look from this perspective of relationship to expect for this flower to bloom all the time, because this is a flower, this is not a weed. It will not grow on itself. It might at the very beginning, but then obviously things change. And this is another aspect of it, which we will go into later, how our relationship changes in the flow of time. Because relationship we start off with, no matter how wonderful or how challenging in the very beginning, it changes in a flow of time, and we need to adjust and we need to take action.